Super Wild Card weekend has finally arrived. The NFL playoffs kick off this weekend, and I'm going to break it down to see who will be lifting up that Lombardi trophy in the next few weeks. I'm Marcelo Unda, and this is the NFL Super Wild Card weekend preview presented by theno.com. All right, so now the NFL season has finally come to an end. We had drama late into the season where we've got teams that were basically out of the playoffs make it in, and teams that exceeded expectations, and also some that had started off hot and fallen off towards the end of the season. So now what I like to be able to do is look over the NFL playoff bracket to see who's got a chance to lift up the Lombardi trophy at the end of the season. As you guys know, in the AFC, we have the top seeded Baltimore Ravens, and in the NFC, the top seeded San Francisco 49ers. When I look at both of these teams, they have elite talent on both sides of the football, offense and defense. Great head coach with experience. John Harbaugh winning a Super Bowl with the Ravens, and Kyle Shanahan, who's had plenty of playoff appearances and also Super Bowl appearances. Some of the things that I look at for these teams that are in the playoffs as to who has a shot of making a run at the Super Bowl, I look at essentially three things. It's the quarterback, the head coach, and a defense. You want to be able to have a reliable quarterback that can make plays, that can make a drive at the end of a game, cool under pressure, avoid any type of turnovers, or can extend a play and make something happen. Head coaching, going head to head with these coaches. Some have had limited experience or none at all, or some may have playoff experience where they've had to go in on the road and get these wins. And so those are some of the things that I look at for with these head coaching positions. And then also the defense. How good are the defense? What are their strengths? Can they get after the quarterback on the passing rush? So the way I look at this, kind of where it's set up, obviously I think Baltimore and San Francisco are two of the elite teams. It's pretty chalky, but I still have to respect that they're both up there. Some of the teams that I do like that kind of fit some of these criteria are the Los Angeles Rams, the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Cleveland Browns. Now, the reason why I include these teams kind of separating the rest of the pack is because those teams I can see beating those top tier teams in the Ravens and the 49ers. Now, let's switch sides over to the NFC with San Francisco. Very elite team. This team, Kyle Shanahan is a great play caller. They have a great defense with linebackers that can get to the football on all the edges. It's Brock Purdy, who I think Brock Purdy has ascended his game to another level this season from what we saw from him last season. However, it's at that point, can we trust Brock Purdy to make plays when he needs to? Or is he going to give up the football? We saw him go through a blunder against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago. He did the exact same thing on the road when he had to play against the Minnesota Vikings and on a Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football game. Whenever he's under pressure and he has turnovers, he loses his confidence. There's a few teams that I like in the NFC that in the event that they had a matchup with the San Francisco 49ers, they could be live to upset them and move on into the playoffs. The first team that comes to mind is Los Angeles Rams. They've got the head coach in Sean McVay. They've got Matthew Stafford. Both have won Super Bowls and have needed to go on the road to win that Super Bowl. Now, the defense isn't as elite as it once was in 2020, but they still have Aaron Donald, the all-pro defensive tackle. I think they have enough playmakers where that defense can just be well enough to be able to keep games close while McVay and Stafford can cook and put points on the board for the offense. However, they have to go on the road to Detroit, where Matthew Stafford started his career, and they have to face their former quarterback, Jared Goff, who are on the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions have had an excellent year. 12 wins, win the NFC North. Dan Campbell, bite kneecaps. I love him. He's outstanding. What I like about him the most is that he's never going to quit. So if you need him to get through, he's more than willing to try to win you the game. But with the experience with McVay and the environment that it's going to be, maybe there's a lot of emotions. No Sam Laporta, the rookie with all the accolades as far as like most yards by a rookie tight end, the touchdowns. I think there's a possibility that him missing this game is going to hinder what the Lions can do on offense. But that opens up Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gibbs and Montgomery in the backfield. But I do like my chances with the Rams being able to win that game and moving along in the playoffs. The other team that I like possibly coming out of the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, you have the pass rush with Micah Parsons. You've got the play calling of Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott. He's had an excellent year. They're the number 2 seed, so they get to be able to host a playoff game. However, the biggest concern is the Green Bay Packers. Now, I think the Green Bay Packers have an opportunity to play upset this weekend, being that they have a young quarterback. They have the head coach, Matt LaFleur, who's had to go into the playoffs. They're not having to play outdoors. They get to play inside of a dome. What I could see happening is McCarthy messing something up, possibly in the play calling or situational sense. But the defense is going to be good. It's probably the best defense that Green Bay's seen all year. And I think that the Dallas defense, in the event that they had to rematch against San Francisco, they got smacked in like week 4 or 5 against San Francisco. Time has passed. They've moved on. They've gotten better since then. I think and then for some reason, if Dallas had to travel, they had the opportunity to go to San Francisco, that they could win and upset San Francisco. Tampa Bay and Philly is the last game of the NFC. Philly also has basically, in my eyes, had that Super Bowl hangover. There are 2 coordinators who got them to the Super Bowl last year, went elsewhere. You've seen them excel in Arizona and also Indianapolis. The offense for Philly has struggled all year long, and it's really just been Jalen Hurts' run. You've got Devontae Smith, who should be back. He says that he's going to play this week. He's back at practice. A.J. Brown was not seen at practice today. It looks like he may have a sprained knee. If he doesn't log a practice in tomorrow or by Saturday, it's most likely that he would be out. So the way I would see the Philadelphia Eagles trying to make a run is that they would need to play tight defense and run the football, but the defense there's holes all over that. People have been able to run all over them. That's been their biggest strength all year. People are passing all over them. Now they got to go up against Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield and those 2 wide receivers, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Now, I just think that Super Bowl hangover is going to be a big situation there. So I do not like my chances with the Eagles moving on. So in the NFC, I've got futures on the Los Angeles Rams at 70-1 that I took a few weeks back before them making in the playoffs. And I just took them again at 40-1. Doubling down on the Rams. That's who I like the most to come up and upset San Francisco. And then the other one I have is for Dallas, plus 750. I took them a few weeks back. I don't love that one as much as I did back then, just because of this matchup that they have. We'll see how that goes with Dallas. And honestly, it would be pretty shocking if Dallas got to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie. I do think that Baltimore and San Francisco are the 2 best teams. The only futures that I have on either of them is Baltimore. Never got anything on San Fran just because of the odds weren't right. Don't get me wrong. San Francisco can absolutely win the Super Bowl. I think they're the most talented team. However, if it had to come down to Brock Purdy, or if Kyle Shanahan has a mix-up, which he's done before, 28-3, down 10 in the Super Bowl against Brady. He blundered on the road against Green Bay Packers. He has a history. Is he over the hump now that everything is going through him in San Francisco? We'll only have to find out. And that's the beauty of the playoffs. Every situation is drama-filled. That's why football is the best. That's why the playoffs are the best. Every snap, every game matters. And I have a feeling we're going to have a good Super Bowl. There's a lot of headlines going on. My dream situation would be, as far as the Super Bowl that I would want to watch, I think that it would need to be the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys would be an all-time Super Bowl. Now, as far as talent goes, I think it's going to be Baltimore and the 49ers. Best thing for me in my pockets would be that if Cleveland and the Los Angeles Rams both met in the Super Bowl, where I could sit back and enjoy 70-1, 40-1, 50-1. So tell me what you guys think. Who's hot going into the playoffs? Can Philadelphia Eagles get back to where they were last year? Does Dallas have a chance? Can Kyle Shanahan get over the hump and lift up the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the year? Let me know what you think. This is Marcelo Unda signing off, and this is The No.